embroidery, and promotional products for the business, organization or events. For custom apparel and promotional products, the Printed Image has dedicated specialists providing quality service, quick turnaround, and memorable products. Call 898-9525 or visit printidimagechico.com. Well, hey everyone, this is Kevin with Red on Air, and I'm here with my my co-host Brandon. How's it going, man?
Great, wonderful to be back.
Yeah, it's been. Let's see, were you on the last show? I always forget. I think you were. We had Jan on here.
Yes, I was.
That was we had an artist on here. She was real cool. And let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else new going on. A little bit discombobulated here. Had to get my paperwork in order here before I ran on. Kind of slid into the station real quick. Well, I hope everyone is having a good night. We've got some pieces lined up. I've been working on doing intros and stuff, but I still have not got these down quite well. I guess I should start by saying if you want to submit to the show, I'm hoping people who listen kind of know what's going on, but people submit to me short stories or flash fiction or poetry, stuff like that. And we read it, and I wouldn't say critique it. I'd say
we comment.
Yeah,
we tell you what we liked about it, what it means to us as readers, and we hope that any of the authors that are listening, and we hope you listen when we read your pieces, we give you our honest feedback, what we pull out of the story, and that's always been a real fun form of interaction for us.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the way I put it best is this show is a frame of a picture, and you guys get to put in whatever picture, whatever you guys want, pretty much. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and get right into it. I think this first piece, we have 2 total authors tonight. We didn't get a name from the second person, and the other one is Hannah, I believe?
Yes, we've got a couple pieces from Hannah and one piece from an anonymous.
All right, we'll get right into it then.
Don't be afraid. You have a path awaiting your footsteps. Don't look back. This road is for your feet only. Don't wait for me. My path ends here. May we meet again when you reach the end of yours. Don't waste your tears. I'm not worthy of them. I have dug my own bed. Don't worry. I have accepted my fate. Why can't you? Don't go. I watch you walk away, leaving only a flower, placed delicately in front of polished stone. Don't forget me.
That is a heavy piece.
It is.
Whew. Man, let me see that paper real quick here. We, for anyone who doesn't know, we like to read these as cold as we can. So generally we like to maybe glance at them briefly before the show, but we don't like to have a lot of things said beforehand, or at least like waiting to be said. But man, this piece has some repetition on don't be afraid, don't look back, don't waste your tears. There's this sense of distance between the speaker and then obviously whoever else is being spoken about in this piece. I've accepted my fate, why can't you? But then don't go. As in, like, there's this duality of please don't leave, but leave because you should. A sense of worthlessness, maybe.
No, I think it's more of a... this is obviously talking about a death, someone that's passed on. And in my perspective, it's someone telling someone that's still living to move on with their life. Don't get dragged down, keep moving forward. But don't forget that I was there.
I can see that.
Don't get hung up on me. Don't stop because I'm gone. But come around, visit me. Don't be here forever. Just don't forget me.
Put in that context, it reminds me of I don't know if you know the song Danny Boy. I think it's an Irish song. Yeah, that one speaks. The lyrics are escaping me, but the song is similar to this in the sense that it's being spoken from the perspective of the person in the grave, saying, "Please come be around me, but definitely don't leave. You like, I'll be. I think one of the lyrics is, "I'll be warmer with you here," or something like that. Having the memory of you, of me in you. I'm not worthy of them. I have dug my own bed. That line I think stands out most to me because it's like I put myself in this grave almost.
It's to me, it more says I've made my own mistakes, and I'm not worthy of you crying over me.
Mm.
You know, I put myself here. You know, whatever mistakes they may or may not have made.
Yeah.
You know, essentially saying you didn't have a part in this, so don't be sad about it.
Yeah.
You didn't put me here.
I can see that. The repeating lines are, "Don't be afraid, don't wait for me, don't waste your tears, don't go, don't forget me." Oof.
Which honestly, just pulling it out in that context kind of summarizes the whole thing. Don't get dragged down. Don't
be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't look back. Don't get caught up in the past of me. Don't wait for me, because obviously I'm not coming back if that's the case. Don't worry.
Don't worry, I'm fine. Nothing's going to happen to me anymore. Worry about you. Remember the good times. Remember me. But don't stand in front of this grave.
Yeah.
Not forever.
Such a good piece. Well, thank you, Hannah, for that. That was a good one. I don't think we had much background for the second piece.
No.
Anything. I think it was just an anonymous submission. So, Mr. or Mrs. or Miss Anonymous, whoever you may be or whatever you subscribe to, please do submit more because we like getting these, and we'll get right into it. The crumbling stone steps offered a small respite. A throne fit for a king in this old world. I took my place of prominence amongst the dirt and the crumbling stone littered with sticky, sickly-looking plants. From here I could see the entirety of the main square. Time moves on. It flows like a gentle river, slowly etching away at the banks. To think I wanted to escape the river. "You did ask for this, remember?" said a sullen-looking man standing proud and prominent in a clean gray, casual suit, cut in a style that was neither now nor then. "And like so many others, I leaped before I looked," I replied. "I never thought that I would see the end of humanity. The curious creatures they were that always sought progress. They found obstacles, but when confronted with a chasm, why not build a bridge?" Suddenly the man who had once stood at a distance now sat next to me. He did not move. He merely was. "Regrets," he said. Not comically, not with spite, but just flat and cold. "Time has no regrets. It keeps marching," I said. "And yet, here you sit, on the ruins of the human empire, looking as if you wish to mourn something lost, something you lost," said cold and flat. Tears dry? I mourned the first time and the second. I wept the third and laughed the fourth. I tried going back, tried to live a life without baggage, but you do your work well. I couldn't stay away. I couldn't stop. Now it's over and done with," I said, with almost some sense of relief. "Father Time cries?" he asked. "And wisdom never sheds a tear?" I asked in reply. "Not everyone or everything listens when I speak, but what does listens carefully. I have no need for tears," wisdom replied. Ooh, that's a haunting piece. I like it. I think towards the end there, if you guys didn't catch that, there's two lines that say, "Father Time cries?" he asked, and the response is, "And wisdom never sheds a tear," I asked in reply. So the two people in this piece, it seems, are Father Time and wisdom. Maybe, does that sound correct to you?
Yeah. It sounds like those are the two characters here.
Not everyone or everything listens when I speak, but what does listens carefully. I have no need for tears. That is such a conservative wisdom view. Like, it sounds like something a being named Wisdom would say, or an essence of wisdom. Hey, if you listen, you listen. If you don't, that's your problem.
Yeah, and there's kind of a real duality between them. You've got this really not not unfeeling, maybe necessarily, but this very flat, straight character that just, for the most part, is talking in one-word sentences through most of the piece, just giving, or maybe asking advice in a way.
I would say. Time has no regrets, it keeps marching, I said, and yet here you sit on the ruins of the human empire looking as if you wish to mourn something you lost. This is a pretty cool part, because the next section is tears dry, and it's not a question, it's not a statement, it's nothing, it's just there, just flat. I guess it is a statement, I should say. I mourned the first time and the second, I wept the third and laughed the fourth. There's this, obviously this removal. If you're an observer of the human species, that's kind of what you're going to see. Is these cycles of a species or our species being raised to power and then prominence and then fall, and then power, prominence, and fall, or prestige and then fall. And yeah, that would take a toll on someone human, I would say.
Yeah.
But these people, or if they're people at all, a sullen-looking man, but Father Time arguably probably isn't human. How do they view it?
Well, at the top of it, he asked why he ever wanted to get out of the river of time.
Right, time flows on.
So maybe he hasn't been Father Time this whole time.
Maybe it's like something you transcend to or something. Very interesting. Wisdom seems more removed, but he explains, it explains it at the end, or says, well, people will listen to me or people that won't. There's nothing worth crying over. It's such I guess that human element comes in there. The fact that time is he says regrets here. Time is regretting watching this go on and on. Because technically he might have the power to stop it.
Well, no, Wisdom asks if time has any regrets.
Go back and look at that again. Sometimes reading the piece, I don't actually get to absorb it as much, so I miss things here or there. You did ask for this, remember? That's true. That's a key point as well. Said a sullen-looking man standing proud and prominent, clean gray, casual suit, cut in a style that was neither now nor then. You did ask for this, remember? Yeah, there is definitely some hint that they asked to be in this power position, or this role, I should say.
Yeah, and if you look at Wisdom's clothing, that description, it's almost like Wisdom is timeless.
Yeah.
Because his clothing is now nor then. It just is.
Fits all the time. Man, we see this beautiful piece just crafted. I really enjoyed this story. This is a really cool little side glance of time and wisdom, which definitely go hand in hand, I would say. One could say that maybe wisdom comes with more time, but then again, depends on how long the species lasts.
Yeah.
Well, said anonymous person, this is a wonderful piece, and we appreciate it. I guess we'll swing into the next one here, which I believe is by Hannah again, too?
Yes.
Cool. She is stealing the show tonight, which means other people need to submit, too. Come on, guys.
Yes, please.
Get in on this.
We love all of you.
We do.
And if you'd like to submit, it's write.onair@gmail.com. That's WRITE.onair@gmail.com.
And we do have a Facebook. I respond, I would say, relatively quick on that email. So if you want to come on here or do anything, really, this show's pretty open as far as the format goes. Get your pieces aired. It's fun. It's not intimidating, I promise.
And if any of your friends ever miss a show, they are uploaded to YouTube as well as available here on kzfr.com.
Yes. You can just look us up on YouTube, Writing on Air /YouTube, I guess, or just Google us on there, and on the KZFR website. Yeah. So, all right, to Hannah's piece.
Silent tears stain blotchy red cheeks. Eyes, once filled with innocent wonder, are now clouded with pain and regrets. They grow dimmer as every hope and dream shatters before them. Your heart, numb to the world it exists in, it no longer has the effort to keep pumping blood through your tired body. With every mistake, It is one more shovel full of soil. All it needs now is a body to keep cold.
Man. That is a big one.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been steeped in just fatigue. I don't know how else to put that. Like the entire piece has just been kind of dipped in this syrup of just tiredness. Would be the way I'd put that.
Yeah. It's a really, really sad piece.
Silent tears stain blotchy red cheeks. If I had to rate the sadness of tears on a scale of 1 to 10, silent tears are probably, I'd say, at the higher end.
Yeah.
So that speaks of something being withheld, in my opinion, or suppressed. Eyes, your heart with every mistake. Those lines stand out to me. Your heart, numb to the world it exists in, no longer has the effort to keep pumping blood through your tired body. Just there's a obvious lack of a will to live right there.
I honestly, in my head, picture like someone looking over a corpse.
Yeah.
Looking at someone already dead. Silent tears. There's nothing left there. Their heart has stopped. They've stopped breathing. You're looking at at someone that's dead with tears on their cheeks and is probably, by the sounds of it, standing next to a grave that was dug.
All it needs now is a body to keep cold. They're just looking over it. Read about the internment pretty much. Numb to the world it exists in. Man, you can take that either way. It could be a personal statement, like this entire thing could be a personal outward expression, or it could be a corpse. It really fits with this first one, I think, too.
Yeah.
The pieces kind of have the similar feeling to them, I'd say. Whew. That is a good piece, Hannah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like someone gripped my stomach. I'm like out of words. That's a good feeling to have, I think, when reading. I mean, pieces can do that to you and make you, I don't want to say speechless because that's kind of cliche.
Yeah.
But when they can push you or pull you to a point where you just want to sit there and kind of sit in the words and just think about them for a minute.
Yeah.
That is a very, very profound thing, in my opinion. Oh, thank you for that piece, Hannah. That was wonderful. I think we have another one by her.
Yeah, I think we've got time for this last piece.
Plenty of time, I'd say. All right, we'll segue into it.
Your lips are like a sugar rush. Your touch makes me high. But eventually I come crashing back to reality. Back to the solitary confinement of my mind. You give me glimpses outside my cell. With a sense of dread, I watch the cracks creep up the walls, cracks that you have unknowingly created. With every exhilarating touch, I wonder, if you break down my walls, will you still be there to catch me when I fall?
That's a good piece, too.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Hannah, you're on a roll tonight. These are smoking. I think they're missing titles.
She
makes it.
She submitted here several times, and she never seems to come up with titles.
Yeah, I think it's a stylistic choice, in my opinion. Man, your lips are like a sugar rush. Your touch makes me high. There's like this obvious addiction to love or something, I would say.
Yeah. To a person.
To a person. I was trying to see if I could spin it to something else, but no, that's definitely a person. But I eventually I come crashing back to reality. There's I can't think of the quote for it, but it's been said that love transports you to a place that's not reality. It's this spot that is almost ethereal and surreal, and all about those like feel good.
Well, if you want to talk about high, you can get. There's that old saying, "Drunk on love." You can be drunk on love.
And then when you filter out all that stuff, you eventually come crashing back down to reality, back to the solitary confinement of my mind.
Well, this sounds like someone that's kind of barricade themselves, put up those walls to prevent someone from getting close.
Yep.
And it seems like someone is trying to make their way in, and this person's wondering whether or not it's safe for those walls to come down.
Yeah.
Will that person that's trying to get close to her be there for her when the walls come crashing down, or are those defenses going to be gone, and are they just going to be open and vulnerable to the world?
Which is, I would say, that's honestly the root of, I wouldn't say commitment issues, but love itself.
Yeah.
Is that proximity. Are you okay with letting someone into those walls? Because we all have them.
Yeah, it's wondering whether or not it's safe or it's comfortable.
Stable.
Yeah.
Long term, short term, anything really. Is it stable? The last question in that, actually really the only part with punctuation in this entire piece is the very last bit, which makes it stand out more so in my mind. Will you still be there to catch me when I fall? If you break down my walls, if you get close, if I let you in, if there is that proximity, will there be stability afterwards? Because I've walls can both hold things in and hold things up.
Yeah.
I would say they give a rigidity. Yeah. Man, keep submitting, Hannah. These pieces are fantastic.
That goes for the rest of you too, please.
Yes, please start submitting for the rest of you who are listening.
So submit. If you have that friend that writes, that scribbles all the time, tell them about us.
Yes.
They might want to get something aired. And just like tonight, if you don't want your name aired, if you don't want anything about yourself aired, you can submit anonymously. The only things we ask is, because this is radio, we can't air cursing.
Avoid the profane. Yeah. And if you have it in there, we're not immediately going to disqualify you. We'll just probably ask for some rewarding.
We can work with you to make it radio friendly.
Yes, exactly. And if you have an ego the size of a truck like I do, you can come on here and talk about your own piece. It's fantastic.
That's how I ended up here.
Exactly. His ego is slightly smaller than mine, though, I'd say. He's a much more respectable person than me.
Help. He forces me on here every 2 weeks.
Shh, Brandon, don't tell them that. Someone's going to actually take action one of these days. Well, usually...
Joking.
Good. Thanks for prefacing that. Usually at the end, towards the end of our show, we like to kind of go back and retouch on what we've read. Sometimes there's connections through them. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's wild revelations that we have that are always correct, in my opinion. As Brandon laughs at me. That's been a critique of my show on occasion. Kevin, sometimes your connections are a little bit out there, and I'm like, I know they are. That's what makes the show.
He stretches a bit.
It's called stylistic choice. But anyways, so we had 4 pieces.
Yeah.
I think the first one...
Hannah's first 2 kind of sit together in my mind, because you've got this person visiting a grave and this person that seems like they're about to be buried or is. It's
hard to tell which perspective they're coming from, but they both fit that theme of either, if you look at them as if the corpse is the one speaking and the corpse is the one looking.
Yeah.
The first one, clearly you see that from the corpse's perspective.
Yeah. The second one looks like someone looking down on the corpse.
Yes, exactly. Silent, stain-blotched red tears, which the corpse wouldn't have those. So it's definitely, the first one speaks more of perspective of death, and the second one speaks more of the perspective of life, I would say. And then we have this third piece, Untitled, which was essentially like a snapshot between Father Time and wisdom, looking at humanity as it kind of ebbs and flows, or I should say just flows in this river. It flows gently. It flows like a gentle river, etching away the banks. And almost this, I guess, I can't think of the word for it. I would say somehow this manifestation of humanity in Father Time, as in it might have been this character might have chose to be in this role, and it's now slowly wearing at him after he watches humanity kind of ebb and flow back and forth and rise and fall over and over. And there's these whirlwind of emotions on there, I would say. Yeah. Very, very good piece. And then what was the last piece? We had Hannah as well.
Yeah.
which I'd say is kind of a love-esque apprehension, maybe.
It seems like it's someone debating whether or not to open up.
Yes, yeah, I would agree. I watch the cracks creep up the walls, cracks that you have unknowingly created, which, that's both the most terrifying and the most exhilarating part of love, in my opinion. When you start to see that they're wearing down these walls that you built and get into the heart of you, I would say, what you think is the core of yourself. That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
I'd say, so we have perspective of life and death. We have also a kind of similar perspective of life and death from afar, I would say.
Yeah.
Looking at looking and not necessarily critiquing, but just watching it happen, I suppose. And then a perspective of life within life, which is love.
And here is where he begins to stretch.
Come on,
ladies
man.
and gentlemen.
Just smile and nod. Sounds good. Yeah, your lips are like a sugar rush. So we have these life and death, we have this perspective of time, and then we have kind of a very intimate feeling of what's that C word? Commitment.
Yeah.
I would say. This terrifying fall of love.
You can tell he has a problem.
Yeah. Wait. No, I don't agree with that, actually. I take that back, whatever I just said. Well, I think that kind of brings us closer to the end.
Yeah.
I'd say we had Jan Matthews 2 weeks ago. This show airs every other Wednesday night, 7:30. So you can kind of calculate out my shows from that point on. And Jan had expressed there was some nerves beforehand, and then she got on here, and afterwards she was like, that was a blast. That was super fun. I'd love to do it again. This is great, which is why I'm saying this, because if you want to come on here, it's really not that intimidating.
Yeah, this is a very, very casual setup.
Laid back. We have cookies and donuts and cake.
No,
and all.
don't promise things we can't deliver, Kevin.
Fair enough. Okay, there's nothing here. You're gonna go hungry, I promise. But you will have a good time, and you'll be able to talk about your pieces, or at least submit them and listen from home.
Yeah.
Tell your friends and family about it. You can use us as a reference that you've been put on a radio show. It's pretty cool. So please, if you want to submit, you can email me at write.onair@gmail.com.
That is WRITE.onair@gmail.com. Please submit. We need more pieces. Please.
Yes,
We love you.
I'm always in need of submissions, so keep that in mind. You keep me going. You can also contact me on Facebook. I check that pretty regularly, Writing on Air, Facebook. And if you want to catch the shows, you can listen in on the KZFR website or on YouTube. Just Google the same title. Well, this has been Writing on Air, and Writing on Air is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by Harrison Daily Wright Accountancy Corporation in Chico. Harrison Daily Wright provides certified public accountants specializing in accounting and bookkeeping, services, auditing, tax prep and planning, management support, services for nonprofit organizations, and more. To reach Harrison Daily Wright, call 895-1209. I hope everyone enjoyed the show, and have a good night.